Hi everyone, good morning, David. Hello to everyone who's joining live and to everyone who will be joining on the replay. And if it's the first time that we're meeting, hi there. My name is Isabel from healthandnaturallife.com, and I work with all things energy consciousness, energy clearing, energy healing, animal communication, space clearing, everything and anything that helps us harmonize with our environment, helps us create the environment that we want to live in, that helps us understand ourselves, our true potential better. And this time on this video, I wanted to share something that I have been experiencing myself and that I felt that could perhaps be useful. So I was thinking, okay, do I want to share anything that will be useful actually this week? And this actually came through. It's something that I'm experiencing in terms of a manifesting process. So it's something I won't necessarily conceptualize. I think I'll just give you my experience because it might be easier to understand. We're always manifesting, that's for sure. We have a reality around us. There are no holes, there are no missing pieces. So we're always manifesting, but it's usually on default. Thank God for that. Otherwise, yeah, we would have had all of our capacity always focused on everything to make sure that there is floor underneath me, there is air all around that I can breathe, there is sunlight, there isn't a wall right in front of me because I'm distracted. Just, we're always manifesting, just not necessarily deliberately. And when we try to apply the principles that I'm pretty sure all of us know at this point in time about deliberate reality creation or manifestation, things kind of get a little bit crazy sometimes. So what I wanted to share this time on this video was something that came through for me recently and that has been helping me in one of those areas that feel a little bit unsafe for me. Honestly, unsafe is really the best word. So to give you the story, because it's easier to explain it like that, I have a car, a smart car, so a Smart 42, a tiny little car that I've had for years, and in the past couple of years especially, but mostly this past year, my car has been telling me, my lovely person, it's time for you to really get a new car. And yeah, I kind of understand it. And another car actually presented itself, as in I keep seeing it, it keeps coming back to me when I ask, so okay, so what's the next car that I actually want? Because there's nothing really in the market that I can look at and just go, it's that one, I love that one. All of them have something that doesn't really appeal to me, but that car keeps coming up time and time and time again. And for whatever reason, even in a heart type of resonance, it just feels like, yes, that car resonates with me. That car is a small Mercedes. It's an A-class. And it's a car that's stretching my boundaries. And that's actually what triggered as well a lot of insights, a lot of healing for me. So it's an A-class healer. That's what I like to call it now, the little Mercedes. And something that came up for me was that even though for the past couple of years, but especially in the past year, I've known that, okay, I'm being called to focus on that car. I have the tools, I know the processes, I can actually deliberately align with having that car in my reality in whatever way. Then the action steps come through inspiration for me to follow them. But the issue is that I don't even want to focus on that car. I don't want to do any deliberate process for that. And that has been gnawing at me, like, okay, I understand that there is a feeling of, from my background, so I'm from Portugal, it's a Latin culture, and there's a lot, especially in Brazil, in probably Mexico as well, and Spain, maybe not so much, but in Portugal as well, there's a lot of the fear of what people think about us, and not just what people think about us, but what will the the energetic attacks almost be like. So envy, evil eye, all of those things are very recent in my culture. Not recent in my culture, they're very ancient in my culture, but they're just very recently starting to shift. So it's something that has a long history of people not wanting to show that they're doing well, either in money or in even in relationships, even in their state of health. There's a habit of just close it, hide it, so that no one knows, because if they do, they will be jealous, they will envy us, and they will start to send energetic attacks, unconscious for the most part, but it's part of my culture, and it is a very big part of what I've experienced in my in the female side of my family, so my mother, my grandmother. That has been a strong current of fear and a strong current of protection against. So there is in me the inbuilt, it isn't safe for me to actually have an outward sign of abundance, like a Mercedes apparently represents to me. So I don't even want to look at that, because I won't be safe. It won't be in my best interest. So there's that conflict. And I also have, from my father's side, I have a similar type of experience, because in the past he was physically attacked for having a higher position than the people around him, and for different other circumstances. But this happened in my teenage years, so I experienced him being physically attacked because of outer signs of wealth. So I have a really strong inbuilt this isn't safe. I'm keeping my abundance either very, very, very well hidden or really contracted, and honestly it's usually both. So I keep the reins really tight around me, and I don't want to expand past a certain point that I feel it's small enough that people won't judge me, and it's large enough that I don't feel suffocated. So it's let's just keep this really tight. And what came through actually recently, as again, I was just pondering, what's this all about? And yes, I have this feeling of it's not safe. I have this feeling of possibly being attacked. And honestly, I've had family animals killed because of bullshit like this. I have a lot of proof in my past that wealth and displaying outer signs of wealth isn't safe. But I was kind of going deeper underneath this, because there was something there that just kept on calling, like, this, there's more to this. And when I got to a deeper level, what I saw is that the underlying belief that all of these things gave to me is that people are antagonistic. So people, for the most part, aren't supportive or loving. They just are jealous, they're envious, they're just self-centered, looking for their own interests, antagonistic, critical. And honestly, if I look around, that has been my experience in the past, but I've had the opposite, sometimes polar opposite experience on many, 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 many occasions, which puts me in this type of a position. So I have both experiences. What's this all about? And that's when this actually came through. It's not necessarily new, but it's a framework that was very useful for me, and that hopefully it might help you disentangle from similar types of beliefs and expectations, because that's what they create, expectations. And then those expectations get, of course, mirrored back to us, because we are the ones lighting up these events in our reality, this side of people, this response. It's an energetic relationship. We're expecting something, we're already sending that signal, and only what matches it will link and will come through mirrored back to us. What I've noticed is that my mother, for instance, on the side of the fear of envy and energetic attacks, she grew up with my grandmother. My grandmother grew up from really strong poverty, and she later on in life, when my grandfather had a very good, comfortable life, but she still felt very closed, very tight, very unsafe about it. So my mother grew up around that, and she adopted that framework and just created her life based on that premise and on those parameters. When I was born as just a little, and all of us, of course, just a little bundle of light, completely open, light and sound, of course, completely open and like an energetic sponge. So we, when we're babies, are completely wide open energetically, and we start absorbing everything because we need a map, so to speak. We need a template to start functioning in this reality. We're coming from a much broader, much subtler reality, and when we actually bring our consciousness through into this more dense reality, we need a map. So the map that we start downloading from the get-go is the one of the people around us, and we start downloading their most prevalent emotional states, because those are the strongest energy fields that we feel. And for my mother, for instance, was anxiety and the feeling of not being safe. For my father was a lot of suppressed anger from things that he experienced in his past, and a very strong drive for pushing things, for moving forcefully forward at whatever cost. Again, because of his background, growing from really extreme poverty and just making his own life to become a mechanical engineer himself. So I, as a mechanical engineer, you can see, yeah, I was looking up at daddy. So there were these two energetic fields. So from my mother, I imprinted the energy field of anxiety, of fear. From my father, the energy field of just anger, suppressed in his case, and of control, of just forcing, of pushing. And those became my models of reality. And as I was looking back at this, and honestly, of course, just let me put a little PS here, I downloaded a lot more from them. Generosity, love, support, kindness, joyful appreciation of life. I downloaded all of that. I'm just talking about the things that aren't serving me right now and that are restricting, of course, my own natural expression. And what I've noticed as well is that, okay, we have that internal imprint of the people that we spend the most time around, but we also are living inside their bubbles of reality, so to speak. So we, as a little baby, and as we start growing up, we have our own bubble of reality, but it's almost like it's this little bubble of reality that's moving and immersed in this bubble of reality from mom, and this bubble of reality from dad, or from whomever are the adults, the people that we spend the most time with. So our bubbles of reality are still very empty and very clear, but we are immersed in the bubbles of reality of our parents, or again, the people that we spend the most time with. And what I was assuming was my belief that, okay, so I have this experience of wealth, external signs of wealth not being safe, because I've seen it in my life. I've had animals killed. I've had my father being attacked. I've had a lot of energetic issues because of it. But when I look back, it's like, okay, what my experience was of being inside of my mother's and father's bubbles of reality. So those experiences were theirs, what they experienced, and of course, because I was in the family bubble, so to speak, I experienced it as well. But whatever meaning I made of it was, of course, my own. But it wasn't because those experiences were a direct cause and effect thing, meaning they aren't truth. So it's not true that if I align with the car that I will be attacked, that someone in my family will be attacked, that people will be envious. That might happen, might never reach my level of consciousness, because I'm not a match to that anymore. If I'm not a match to that anymore. It's not, if this happens, this will always be the consequence of it. What happened was really that my mother had a strong expectation of, if we have this type of circumstance in terms of wealth, something will happen. My father had a very similar, although coming from a different angle, expectation. So the two of them co-created very unconsciously, of course, the experiences that then I witnessed as I was growing up. And that kind of freed me to notice, okay, so this was actually, it's not that if I have this car or display outer signs of wealth, I will be attacked, or my family members will be attacked, or someone that I love will suffer from it. It's more that I actually witnessed their own beliefs, their own expectations being lived, being mirrored back to them. I witnessed it, but it's not because they are truth, it's because they are their beliefs, their expectations. That's what they lit up from the reality around them at that point in time. They change a lot as well, so much freer in those senses. But I am the one who then started making meanings out of their bubbles of reality and their experiences, started making meanings around about the world around me. And those are the meanings that now I have to start dissolving. It helps me to see this in terms of, okay, so my mother, her bubble of reality was this. My father, his bubble of reality was this. I was in the middle of it, witnessing, it's almost like witnessing a joint movie happening. It's not true. It's a movie that both of them are creating, and I'm just a spectator. But I'm experiencing their movie as well. Now that I am out of their bubbles of reality, so to speak. So I don't live with them, so I'm in my own created bubble of reality. What is my truth now? And that's what I've been just diving deeper and deeper. And for me to get actually to my truth and the choice of a new belief that came up from my core was that people are loving and supportive. And that has been my experience. It truly has been my experience. It's just that when we have it's not counterintentions, but different contradicting beliefs, we see a little bit of everything. But for the most part, I can say, looking back through my life, that people are loving and supportive. So that's the new way of perceiving the world, the new filter that came up from inside. And it's still a filter, because anything is a filter. We live in an infinite sea of potential. We choose whatever we want to light up. And there are some versions that are more constricting. There are some versions that are more expansive, the ones that align more with our broader selves, knowing, with our core truths. So this one just came through from my core, that people are loving and supportive. And it's something that I am focusing on now, before actually even looking at outer signs of wealth. At that point in time, they won't even be called outer signs of wealth. It will just be a natural expression of something that I want. How do we get to our truth? It will be probably different for each and every one of us. For me, tuning into the spaciousness inside of myself. So like I shared in previous videos, in spaciousness, stillness, silence. From there, I just asked, okay, so what is my natural response? What is true for me regarding this? And it was from that vastness, spaciousness, empty space, that new perception came up, that people are loving and supportive. Another exercise that might be very useful is heart maths, heart-brain coherence. You might have learned it as well from, or heard of it from, either Joe Dispenza or Greg Braden, which is to just harmonize our heart and our brain, because that starts creating a connection that gets us out of the stories that we made and gets us into the wisdom of our heart that's connected to the wisdom of our broader self. And we can just get to that state first and then just ask, okay, so what is underneath this? What is the truth actually for me? Knowing that in the past I've had these experiences, yes, for the most part, they were the experiences that I was witnessing from my mother, from my father, from my grandparents that raised me, from the people around me. And then, of course, as I started growing up with assuming that these things were true, I was kind of writing them into my own filters until I started changing them, and there was so many conflicting things with those negative or constricting filters that they never really fully settled as a reality. It was always there's something here that just doesn't feel right. But safety was always something that made me question things, so made me go for a more closed approach. So just in case, let me keep myself safe until I actually find out what's underneath all of this. And yeah, this awareness that, okay, all of those experiences, those were me witnessing the reality bubbles of my parents, just mirroring back to them their expectations, their beliefs. And I witnessed it, and I could make and can make whatever meanings I want out of it. But now I understand that they weren't truth, they weren't the way things are, they were just experiences being lit up by my parents and being mirrored back to them. And I can make a different choice now. So that framework really is helpful for me. And I hope I was clear in my exposition or explanation of it, and I hope that it helps you as well, because now we are our own beings, we are sovereign, we can make different choices, especially now because the energy is so much clearer, so much stronger, that it's a lot easier for us to make shifts and to have clarity on the patterns that are still holding us back. And because energy is moving a lot faster and with a lot more intensity, manifestation of whatever our filters are, good, bad, or indifferent, is a lot faster as well. So the more that we pay attention, become aware that, okay, this was someone else's experience that I adopted, this perspective or that perspective, but I'm starting to question that. What is true for me now? The more that we start bringing, bringing those assumptions back and just noticing, okay, this isn't mine, so I won't own it, because that's an issue when we own things. No, it's like that because I've had experiences of it. No, I was witnessing someone else's reality and being mirrored, their expectations being mirrored. So I won't own it. It's not my reality. That it's not even my choice of a belief or an expectation. So what is true for me? Bring back the assumptions and start tuning in to our core, to the spaciousness, to our heart. What is true for me now? And we'll start letting all of those energetic patterns unwind, dissolve, and we start expressing first internally, start imprinting again or disimprinting everything else, and our true blueprint starts settling, starts shining, starts radiating out, starts being mirrored back to us. And that's when we live, really truly live our true fullest expression life. So I hope again this was clear. I hope this was useful. Just felt inspired to share. Thank you, David, for joining me live. Thank you for joining me live as well. Let me know if you have any questions. Like, share, do what you feel inspired. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you on the next video.